Another tournament, another debacle. Every time Smash Bros has a big tournament, I sign on to Twitter and I just see an absolute dumpster fire everywhere. Now, I actually put my cross on for this video because I claim no bad energy from the images I'm about to show you. But it baffles me how this scene, the Smash Brothers scene, doesn't seem to understand how to dress appropriately around children. It doesn't feel like a difficult concept to grasp. And before we get into the video, I'm just going to put this out there now. No, I don't have a problem with the LGBT community. As a matter of fact, I will throw you a bone just so you understand where I'm coming from. If there were women walking around in this tournament with nipple tassels on and a thong covering their Brazilian airstrip, I would have a problem with that. Why? Because it's not appropriate for children to be around. So just to get out there before someone clips this and goes, oh look, he hates gay people. No, nothing to do with you being gay, trans, lesbian, bi. That is not the problem here. It's how you're behaving. It's never about who you take to bed or how you identify. Those are separate discussions of which I don't really take part in. My problem is how you think, and that is ultimately the problem that you have with people like me. It's not the color of my skin. I'm sure you don't have a problem with that. It's not the fact that I've got tattoos. It's not the fact that I have long hair or how I look. Because of how I think, it's a clash of ideas, and that's the problem here. And that is the problem with these Smash Brothers scene. They don't seem to understand there's a time and place to get a little flagrant with what you wear and how you behave. And that time and place should never be around children. So just recently, a tournament called Supernova has just gone by. It's a pretty big Smash Brothers event, so you know there's going to be some sort of bullshit going on. And this event is sort of like advertised to be family friendly, to be inclusive to children. We welcome your children here. As a matter of fact, there is a banner that someone took a picture of and it says Nova Junior, fun for all ages. Fun for all ages, fine, no problem. That makes sense. Do you know why? Because it's a game with fucking Pikachu in it. So I would think kids would be there. Having said that, if you're going to invite kids to this event, why are you dressed like this? This is not appropriate wear to have around children. It's barely appropriate to walk around like that, but fine, they let you do it, whatever. It is not appropriate to be in a venue with children dressed like that. It's also not appropriate to be in a venue wearing a top like this. I mean, what is going through your minds when you're doing this? Do you hate the people that oppose you so much that you have to act like absolute imbeciles? Why would you wear a top like this around children? Or why would you post something like this? Like, this is literally people that have had their brains rotted so much because they dislike people that oppose them so much that they are willing to do this in front of children. And this is where you lose the argument. I can understand and I can sympathize, I can empathize with people that feel like there's people that are always cussing them out for how they identify and what they do with their lives. I get that. I might not even agree with you, but I understand feeling resentment towards those people. But for you to dress like this and do that in a picture and write that caption, I've even had to blur out because it's on YouTube, and then go to a tournament dressed like that, you're mad. You're insane. You're reprehensible. And do you know what the worst part is about all of this? I can't even get too mad at these people. I am more mad at the Smash TOs. The Smash TOs here are the ones that need to be held accountable. You are very happy and you're more than willing to ban players in droves, hundreds of them, for saying naughty words. And I might agree with you sometimes, oh, you know, slap on the wrist here, suspension there, but you ostracize people when they make mistakes like that. But you see stuff like this online, and I know that you see it, we all see it. You see it at your tournaments and you let it rock. The commentators sit there, nobody's saying anything. People are walking around looking like they're supposed to be at a strip club. And do you know what killed me the most about this whole thing is there's people on Twitter going, well, do you have a problem with people at the beach? Are you stupid or something? So should we go to the beach as we would to church? Or vice versa? How about a funeral? How about you guys go to a mosque dressed like this and let me know how it works out for you? Do you not understand that in different venues and settings you dress accordingly? Do you not understand that when you're around children, you dress in a certain way, you behave a certain way because they're children, they're not adults. They don't understand things like we do. And your scene already has a reputation for being pedo adjacent. So why add to it? Why add to it? Why act like an idiot when you are adults? The reason that you guys do these things and get away with it at Smash tournaments is because the tournament organizers stand for absolutely nothing. And so because they stand for nothing, they fall for everything. It is the epitome of being pathetic. That an adult cannot see that and be like, hey bro, hey girl, go and change. Go back to the hotel. That's not okay here. Where are your backbones? Oh, but someone says something online. You put them in your little black book. They can never come back to the tournament. You've really got your priorities straight. Protect the kids from mean words online, but God forbid they see bulges all over the tournament. That's completely fine. And again, it's not because I have a problem with trans or gay people. I mean, Jimbo here, who is apparently transgender, is the one posting about it. I'm just talking about it because I saw it on their account and I was horrified and disgusted by what I was seeing. According to Jimbo, the guy that was pictured in one of the daddy thongs, even makes me sick to say that, Urban Boy, you better not, is apparently messaging people all over Reddit looking for Jimbo's information. Do you understand how mad that is? That we are simply asking you to dress appropriately around children and you're trying to dox this person for that. I told you guys before, it is not about belonging to members of communities. It's nothing to do with that. It's how you think. Jimbo is transgender. So you would think, you know, maybe some leeway would be given to Jimbo, maybe a conversation, but no, apparently they're all over Reddit looking for their personal information. Do you understand what's going on here? An exchange of ideas can't be had. It's our way or the highway. And Technicals put it perfectly here. He said, you see, that's the paradox of intolerance at work. They have to dox you to show you how doxing is wrong. If you have to go to doxing to make your point, you've already lost the battle. You should be able to jump on Twitter or jump on a podcast or have a conversation with these people on Discord and explain to them why you're not in the wrong. Now, obviously, we all know you're in the wrong because everyone knows you shouldn't be dressed like that in front of kids, but you don't even attempt that. You see people talking common sense and then you want to dox them. And I've seen people saying, oh, you know, these people look good, the fits go hard, blah, blah, blah. Again, I'm not here telling people you can't be gay, you can't be outside holding your partner's hand, you can't have a boyfriend or a girl. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying act appropriately. I'll give you guys an example. When you're around children, generally speaking, when you're out and about and you're around children, you don't really use crazy language around them, right? Because the kid is present. You change up your vocabulary because you don't really want the kid to see that. You don't want the kid to hear that stuff. The same reason that parents don't fight in front of their kids, or at least they try not to. Good parents will take the fight to the bedroom or they'll take it outside and they'll have their argument. They keep it away from the kids, or when they see the kids realizing that something is going on, they stop. You change up your behaviors around different people. The same goes for religion and the same goes for culture when you go to other countries. You act accordingly, but you guys don't seem to understand that. You have no respect, no basic decency, zero decorum. There's actually a tweet that David Kimball put up in 2020 and he said, smash scene allegations, it's a cultural problem 100%. This awful habit of having heavy drinking at tournaments is inviting catastrophe. If minors are around, there should be no alcohol, period. Sexual abuse starts with a mindset. Sex is not a casual endeavor, stop treating it like one. Now that was posted back when all of the smash allegations were coming out, and the reason that we have to talk about that is that we are one tournament away from something terrible happening, a catastrophe. Now, having alcohol in your system is not an excuse to do something crazy like that, and a normal person wouldn't do that. All the alcohol is doing is bringing out the worst in you. The worst in me might be like telling somebody, oh, piss off, I don't want to hear from you. When I'm not inebriated, I might just be polite about it. But if you drink and you do something to a child or you approach a child, it wasn't the alcohol that made you do it. You were always a creep. And the fact that David is even talking about alcohol being in these venues is insane to me. Why the hell is there alcohol at a Smash tournament? Smash Bros is a scene that already has a major problem. You've got a character like Terry Bogard, who is from my age range. And then you've got a character like Pikachu that appeals to children. And you've got this clash of cultures, this clash of age brackets in one game. You've got Solid Snake and then you've got Pokemon Trainer. So of course, the deranged, the ones that want to prey on people are going to show up to these tournaments. That's why people are so wary. So you might be wearing something thinking this is what I wear my day to day. This is how I like showing off my body. You might not be one of those people that actually wants to do something, but you need to understand optics. If you're showing a bit too much skin and you're wearing things that we associate with strip clubs, but you're just being too flagrant with your wear, and there's a 10-year-old walking around in a scene that has already had a plethora of allegations against it. Put two and two together. This person says, I was there in person and this is just the tip of the iceberg. I really wonder what is going to come out next. It never ends with this scene. It just never fucking ends. When is Nintendo going to step in? I hate to be that guy, but I feel like enough is enough now. Where is Nintendo in all of this? I know people are always saying Nintendo ain't going to get involved because, you know, they want nothing to do with the Smash scene, but they're playing your game. Can you not send a cease and desist or something? Like, you understand these guys are going into venues with people far younger than them and allowing people into the venue that put up images of themselves on Twitter saying they're going to venues dressed like this, and you guys are doing nothing. On top of that, you've got a bunch of Smash TOs that are power drunk. They're power hungry, and it is a tyrannical system that pushes people out. People that they don't like. People that are deserving of remorse, and it lets in degenerates. And again, Again, let me reiterate, I'm not saying you're a degenerate because you're gay or part of the LGBT community. I'm saying you're a degenerate because you're acting like one in front of children. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but can people that are gay and transgender not just dress like me? Of course they can, and they do every day. And that's why there's transgender people on Twitter calling this bullshit out. Of course you can dress like this. No, you're not at the beach. No, you're not at a strip club. No, you're not at one of your rallies, which should be 18 plus anyway. You're at a tournament with children. And then on top of all of that, when you talk common sense to these people, they get violent. They start calling for violence every single time. It can't just be like debate or back and forth. Something that seems so obvious. Not saying don't be who you are. What we're saying is do what you do in society in your day-to-day. Dress appropriately. Would you go to work dressed like that? No. You'd get fired. And there's people being DM'd. Like they're being sent DMs on Instagram and Twitter regarding this situation. I'm going to read out some to you now just so you can get an idea of how fried some people are. Same event. This person replies, dude, I'm around kids too. With fishnets. Never been a problem. Always got compliments. How does that make you feel? I've been with my bra exposed to pride marches, marching with kids, and they complimented me without sexualizing me. They can do it and you can't. What's wrong? The fact that you don't even address the fact that kids die, but yeah, sure, let's pretend it was always about caring about kids. Bet you would be able to fetishize them too just for fishnets, which they do wear. Should kids wear stripper attire like heels and lingerie? It's normal clothing. So now pride is 18 plus? It should be. What the F? It's about sexuality. Dude, do you have any idea? Kids don't need to be in that. How many young of ages are literally dying, mostly in the US, because of queer phobia? I don't even know where to begin with this. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like gay kids don't get bullied, okay? I went to a rough school. I saw it myself. I'm not going to sit and pretend like that don't happen. Of course it does. That is not an excuse to bring a child around somebody that is in their bra and knickers marching down the road. There's got to be better ways to deal with this. There has to be. And it seems like everybody that has interacted with this post has got people in their DMs justifying why somebody should be dressed like a slut on a street corner in front of children. Can you imagine that? We are well and truly in the upside down. This person called Jellypop commented on my post, and they commented on Technical's post as well, so they left it on mine. I'm going to read out to you what they said. Now, bear in mind, this person is 14 years old. Honestly, would like to talk about this from a child's POV. I've been to multiple pride parades across SoCal and LV, and let me tell you, us kids and even teens like me do not want to see you in as little attire as possible. Same applies in tournaments. I don't want to see you with your bulge out. If anything, it weirds me and many others. Why is it that you have to wear so little clothes to a tournament around a children's fighting game? I've never understood this, and it still weirds me out to this day. I'm a huge advocate for LGBT pride and self-expression, but is it really that difficult to dress normally in a tournament where you know there's going to be children? Take that shit somewhere else, like a strip club, not a tournament. It's weird. And I say this to people all the time. There has to be a way to express yourself without having your bits out in front of kids. There has to be a better way. That can't be all that you're made up of. That can't be your entire personality, especially at a tournament with a game that has Pikachu in it and Olimar. Now, whilst I did appreciate that post, and a lot of people on my post were commenting on it, to Jellypop saying, you know, you sound like a pretty smart 14-year-old. Gonna assume that you're 40 anyway. Please stay away from Smash tournaments. Like, use your brain. I then went on to see Jellypop post this. Being a child myself, I don't want to see it, man. Sure, I cosplay and act like a twink, but I never take it too far. No lingerie, none of that bullshit, yet these guys are only exposing themselves as weirdos and pedos. Sick. Now, Jellypop, like I'm gonna say this because you're 40. I'm gonna try and be as polite as possible. Do not, under any circumstances, act like a twink, okay? Because as far as I am concerned, after doing some research on what that is, and I had to clear my search history after that, that is like throwing meat into a lion's cage in a Smash tournament. Is it possible for us to go to tournaments and just behave like normal people? Yes, like normal people. That is not rude to say. I'm talking for everyone, myself included. Girls, guys, anyone. Go to the tournament, socialize, be normal. It is not a place to express your sexuality or the mad ways that you want to dress. It is not a place to get heavily drunk. There's children present. And it's certainly not a place to have orgies. How many times have we heard this? And how many times have we been told that people that were underage were way too close to that? I guess I should go to the local in a Speedo according to this person. If you did, everyone would look at you weird, but no one would say anything because it's not their business. These people are spineless. Imagine that. A man turns up to a Smash tournament in a Speedo and everyone looks at you and doesn't say anything. Parents, if you are watching this, and I'm not going to put your screenshots in here because a couple of you were saying that you brought your kids to the Smash event, please don't take your children around these people. They are not sane of mind. This is madness. It is mad that we even have to make this video. But at the end of the day, Smash is loosely connected to the fighting game community, and unfortunately a lot of their players do cross over into the fighting game community. They're like a sister branch of it. I mean, we already know Guilty Gear players are very, very close to Smash players. We've seen all the problems there. So it is something that needs to be spoken about. People need to know what's going on at these events. And even though it's blown up on Twitter, I think it's good to archive it and put it on YouTube and wherever else you can. Now, the problem here is that people are afraid of these people. They're afraid of them here in the UK. And they're afraid of them in the US. And again, just to clarify, not to the LGBT community. I'm talking about the people with radical ideas, with crazy ideas, with people that don't understand that you shouldn't be dressing like this or acting like this around children. A lot of people in the fighting game community are scared of them. They're scared of them because they act unhinged on Twitter. And they probably think to themselves, do I really want to get involved in this? These people are crazy. They do nothing but play Smash Bros. Of course they're going to have time to fuck up my life. But at the end of the day, guys, if we're in a community together, this needs to be spoken about. These people need to be called out. It's not even necessarily about naming and shaming. It's about saying, yo, can you exercise some common sense and be a little bit decent? I know you don't like me, and that's fine. I don't like you either. But can we be decent in front of children? Is that possible? Now, there's this other controversy going on right now of this player called Onin who plays Steve. Now, I play Smash Bros. My brothers have been part of the Smash Bros. Community. I have friends that have been in the Smash Bros. Community, which is why I talk about these topics, because I don't want them going to a tournament where there's a bunch of creeps. So, of course, I'm going to speak about it if I have a platform. And this guy plays Steve. I don't like fighting Steve. Nobody likes fighting Steve. If you play Steve, I'll probably boo you. But booing someone's not a problem. I think booing people is completely fine. It's always been like that in the fighting game community. I've been on the receiving end of boos. Anybody in the Mortal Kombat scene dating back to MKX will remember that I played one of the weakest characters in the game, which was Scorpion Inferno. But I played him in a very annoying way. And I will remember, I'll never forget, I was in a cinema screening. It was the best MKX players in the UK, maybe even in Europe, I can't remember exactly. We were in a cinema screening, and it was my turn to fight Undead Jim to see who was going to progress and who was going to finish in 4th or 5th place. And I remember I went with my sister Ellie and this other girl, and they were watching, and they were booing, and the whole audience was booing me. They were the only two people cheering me. I was getting booed on the way down, and they were cheering me. As a matter of fact, I still remember that because Ellie stole the skull. Ellie stole the skull from the Mortal Kombat tournament. You lot think I'm joking? While I was playing the game, Ellie and her friend decided to go and steal the stuff in the cinema. Now, I'm very sorry to Warner Brothers and NRS. I know that people were looking for this stuff in the tournament. I didn't take it. It happened a long time ago. Okay, let's just let bygones be bygones. I mean, it was just sitting there. But I got booed. So I got booed when I played Soul Calibur. They used to boo me when I would use Algo. I remember I won one of the Edge Master series against King of Hyrule, who was the best player in the UK and one of the best players in EU. And I remember I beat him. He didn't want to shake my hand. Nobody in the tournament wanted to acknowledge it, and I got booed. And that's completely fine. Now, if it is just purely booing, then people in the Smash Bros community need to grow up. However, I was told that this Onin player is being sent death threats for playing Steve. And at first I thought to myself, do you know what? They always say this whenever they get upset. It's death threats this, death threats that. But then I was like, wait a second. This is the Smash Bros community. That might actually be happening. So if you're one of those people that apparently is walking into the VIP areas of tournaments to taunt little children who have just lost and are crying, which, you know, it's fine. It's crying over Smash Bros tournament, whatever, but they're kids. It's a kids game. I'm not surprised. And filming them and crying and pointing and sending death threats because he's playing Steve. You're an idiot. You guys are cooked. There's nothing good to say here. And I feel so bad for the people that play Smash Bros that just want to play the game in peace. They don't want to be involved in this. They hate having their name attached to this nonsense. They hate having to constantly defend the fact that, oh, I'm not like this. And I get it. I completely understand that. But at the end of the day, guys, like this whole scene is a mess. And I really don't understand why the police haven't even stepped in at this point. I don't know why Nintendo hasn't stepped in. Anyway, it's just another Smash tournament, another debacle. You got people walking around like they're trying to get business on a street corner. You got people pointing at little kids, laughing at them after they've been eliminated and sending them death threats because of the characters they play. And then you got these Smash TOs who once again stand for absolutely nothing, and so they fall for everything. Not a backbone between them. But hey, you know, all of you that are saying, oh, well, we can dress like this at a beach. Okay, cool. Go to school dressed like that. go to a church dressed like that, a funeral, go to a mosque. Let me know how it works out for you guys.
So